What is going on, baseball fans? It's Tino back with another New York Mets video. Welcome back to WHADDYA SHEA, the exclusive channel for all things New York Mets and Mets fans. I've been on board for almost every move the Mets have made this offseason, from the front office to free agency to trades. And this one that they've made most recently, I'm not exactly sold on out of the gate. And maybe it's because I'm still expecting a bigger signing or somewhat of a bigger acquisition out there or a trade that will take this team to the next level. But this move didn't exactly do that, especially after missing out on some of these big free agents. Now, on the heels of not signing Trevor Bauer, the Mets made a trickle, not a splash, a trickle, by adding defensive center fielder Albert Almora Jr. from the Chicago Cubs. He was a free agent. The details of the deal itself aren't officially out. He still has to pass a physical, but for me, my initial thoughts on this is it's not too much of a big deal. It reminds me a lot of the Jake Marisnick signing from last year. It seems like he's going to be a platooned outfielder, defensive-minded, to come in and help, especially when we have some more fly ball pitchers in the game. Nothing too sexy out of this. Nothing too crazy. I know a lot of Mets fans out there are comparing this to a Juan Lagares 2.0, and I don't think you're too far off, and I'll get to that in a second. But for me, first and foremost, this move essentially means that the Mets won't exactly be in the market to spending money on Jackie Bradley Jr. It appears to me that maybe the price has gone a little too high on Jackie Bradley Jr., and maybe the Mets just aren't willing to pay for it because of the issues and certain assets that he has. And we've talked about, a defensive-minded center fielder as well, similar to Almora here, with not too great of a bat. So if we're getting Almora at a discount at 26 years old, Jackie Bradley Jr. asking for above $10 million. Looks like they're trying to nitpick at that position. But my other thought is, have the Mets found their center fielder? And it's a question that Ken Rosenthal tried to answer. He said the Mets have found their center fielder. And look, for me, the short answer is no. They have not found their center fielder. And I think the deal can be beneficial for the team. I just don't think it's going to do anything aside from saving us a few runs throughout the season. I think he's an outstanding center fielder with a glove, but again, this doesn't take the team that is looking to compete at the elite level, to the next level. We're not talking Springer here. JBJ is great as well, but even then, it's not exactly a head-turning move. So we still have the problem of not having an everyday center fielder, and it sounds like then that our everyday center fielder will have to be Brandon Nimmo moving forward. And if the season started today, Brandon Nimmo would be in center field starting for me in this lineup, and he'd be batting leadoff. And look, let's take a look into Albert Almora a little bit, because he does have some tools to be a very good player, and he's young enough with the potential to maybe turn a corner, and maybe the Mets can get something out of him here. So when you look at Almora, he's a 26-year-old former top 10 pick for the Chicago Cubs that just never fully caught strides to becoming a complete player. Helped them win that World Series, was a contributor on that team, mainly known for his defense, but that's deservingly so. He's very skilled, very good with the glove, has incredible instincts to track the ball, and, he's an athlete. At the plate, he's mainly a contact hitter. His best seasons came in his first 2 full years. 3 years, really. He played that, the 47 games in 2016, but his first full seasons in 2017 and 2018 were his best averages to date, nearly a 300 hitter, and, it never really got going after that. Unfortunately, his worst season came last year, and we've talked about how a lot of players had their worst years last year, but in 28 games of action, just really didn't do anything. Only 5 hits, 4 runs scored, a double, not much going, 167 at the plate, 9 strikeouts, not great. Really ugly numbers, and from a power standpoint, he never really got it going ever. The best was in 2019. He turned it on a little bit, but as a result, he hit 12 home runs, 32 RBIs, but his average took the biggest dip. That 236 as a hitter, really not that great. And so, he's a bit of a mixed bag here. I know they're not going to get him for much, and he could end up, being a buy low kind of guy. He's about to be 27 years old come the league year, but Almora, for me, is just not turning my heads out of the gate. And when you compare him to Juan Lagares, and we can look at Juan's numbers here, even though it doesn't really matter, they kind of mirror each other. I mean, from a batting perspective, you give the advantage to Almora a little bit, but really not by much. I mean, it matches in terms of, the fact that Almora can hit maybe for power a little bit more, but all in all, just nothing crazy. I mean, Lagares is the base stealer of the two. I've heard from certain Cubs people that he has the ability, Almora, to steal bases. You just haven't seen it in terms of his numbers yet. But let's not forget, in 2014, Juan Lagares did win a Gold Glove. So as much as Almora could be, Lagares 2.0, let's see maybe if he could get that Golden Glove, because Lagares was an incredible defender. His biggest issue was staying on the field. I mean, he struggled with injuries forever. I thought he was catching strides several seasons at different points, and then he just always dealt with injuries, especially to his lower extremities. So, it never really caught for Juan Lagares. But for me, all in all, to bring this all together, I think Almora can help this team. I think he'd be beneficial. I just don't think it's going to be a world-beating move. He's young enough that, maybe he turns the page, but I'm not jumping for joy and excitement on this trade. I think it could be a steal for sure, but look, the potential is there. It's just that's not what this team exactly needed in my eyes, because I thought we were ready to compete at a higher level and make a bigger move to make us compete at that higher level. But at the same point, I guess it's running thin out there. Ozuna has signed. Rosario's gone. The big bats in the outfield are gone. It's really just platoon defensive guys at this point, and JBJ would be at the top of it all. So it does make sense. I guess they will be saving money, and it's like, if you're going to get a defensive-minded center fielder, buy low on it. So I get that, and it seems that Nimmo will be our starting center fielder moving forward. But, Almora for me isn't the missing piece for this team. But we will see. Time will tell. I'd love to know what you guys think on this move, if you think Almora could be the starting center for this team moving forward, and ultimately what you guys think of our center field situation at the moment. Do you think Brandon Nimmo will be able to take over that center field role and thrive in it this year if he is the everyday guy? Let me know what you guys think. Reply in the comments below. Be sure to also like, subscribe to this. Give me that thumbs up. Turn the notifications on. Remember, WHADDYA SHEA. If you're just stopping in here, this is an exclusive channel for all things New York Mets. If you like this video, there's more like it and more live streams coming your way throughout the coming weeks, throughout the news, throughout the MLB when the Mets make moves. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. I appreciate everything. Comment below. I'll reply to as many as I can. All of you guys if I can. And I'm really looking forward to hearing your guys' feedback on what you guys think of this decision. So, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, let's go Mets.